What is going on, my fellow Jedi and Padawans? Welcome back to another Jedi gaming video. Thank you guys so much for coming back to the channel, and if you guys are new, welcome. Today we're going to cover a god roll guide for y'all for the Bygones, which came re-released with this Revenant episode right here, and people are abusing it inside of the Crucible. In my opinion, in trials, have seen it literally everywhere. Definitely a super good gun inside of the Crucible, but also has a very good perk pool for the PvE realm as well. So we're going to cover everything on this weapon for traits, as well as its one origin trait that we get from Gambit, which I personally do not use that often if I have the option to switch on and off of it. That origin trait that I'm speaking of is Gun and Run. Rapidly defeating targets with this weapon grants us bonus sprint speed. Guardians, powerful combatants, and high value targets grant this bonus quicker. So definitely more of a PvP perk, I guess you could say, than PvE in my personal opinion. So that is also why it feels pretty good inside of the Crucible, but PvE wise, definitely not that useful. Speaking of the PvE realm, we are starting us out with a stability masterwork as well as small bore for our barrel. Gives us the all-around stats that I'm looking for in that stability and range, for my personal opinion, inside of the PvE realm, because it does have a little bit of bounce going on. I personally went with a pendant mag right here. Gives us +6 in the magazine without losing a bunch of our reload if we're using something like extended. We got that 55 in range, 72 in stability, which is what I was looking for with that 70 in the stability for sure. Third column and fourth column have like 12 different perk choices that you can get, so it's kind of a lot to choose from, but we're going to cover what I think are the top 3 in each of these for PvP, PvE. So first off, we got Shoot to Loot in the third column for PvE. Definitely a very good perk for that realm. You can get orbs of power as well as ammo just by shooting it, so definitely up there as my top 3 in this column. Second option for y'all, a lot of these are kind of interchangeable in my personal opinion. We got Subsistence, so when we get defeats, partially refills the magazine from the reserves, so not too shabby if you're using this for the ad clear side of a pulse rifle, getting it almost infinitely up with ammo as long as you are getting those defeats. So Subsistence, key inside of the Crucible, or I should say inside of the PvE realm. Last but not least, in this here column for number 3, we got ourselves the beautiful Demolitionist perk, which I think would probably be my number 1 choice, because we're getting that grenade energy on defeats, plus when we throw our grenade, we're going to be able to reload this weapon from reserves. So beautiful little combo in my opinion, and Demo is one of the best perks for the PvE realm overall. Now, fourth column, we got this long perk right here with Kinetic Tremor. Sustained kinetic damage to targets, emits a shockwave that damages any nearby targets. Is definitely nice for us because this thing is good on doing a little bit of extra damage on those bosses, champions, whatever it may be. Plus, has that ad clear potential when you are doing it, and it is super nice in my opinion, why it is in my top 3. Firefly is the second choice in my opinion, or second option, I should say. These are all pretty interchangeable, but I really like the combination of Demo with Firefly. Definitely adds to the weapon in my personal opinion. Precision kills with this weapon increase reload and cause targets to explode, dealing solar damage, so nice little addition with that Scorch. Plus ad clear of this, getting our grenade back, very juicy if you are using Firefly with the Demolitionist. Now, last option for me in this fourth column is Frenzy, because we're getting that all around 15% damage increase when we are inside of combat, which is pretty easy to get proc, of course, inside of the PvE realm, so not too bad when you're getting that blanket 15% damage increase. But like I said, I personally think that Demo with Firefly is probably my number 1 choice, at least overall. Subsistence Frenzy, not a bad option. Subsistence Firefly, also not a bad option. So lots of different choices. This thing was definitely slapping inside of the PvE realm as well, but definitely reigned supreme in PvP. So overall, I think I would still give this thing a good 4.5 out of 5 though for the PvE realm. Definitely better than the average bear. Not like an SS tier weapon, but definitely a good solid A tier weapon, no questions asked for the PvE realm. And then when we take it to the PvP in a second here, you'll see why it's absolutely disgusting. Alright, so for the PvP realm, this thing is absolutely dapping up Guardians. Is that adaptive frame, pretty quick TTK in my personal opinion. For me, I'm gonna go with range as my masterwork with corkscrew rifling as my barrel, because we're gonna get handling on top of the range and stability, having us at 51 in handling, 74 in range, 76 in stability. So pretty even stats in my opinion, making this thing a little more of a laser beam than if you're using small bore or a hammer forged. Now for me, really your only option in the second column is your ricochet rounds, +5 to range, +10 to that stability, plus you can ricochet off of hard surfaces. I definitely use this to beat some enemies around corners, get that little extra damage on them if they're trying to hide in a corner. So definitely a very good perk for PvP. Now again, third and fourth column, we got so many different options here, but I'm going to give you what I think are probably the best three in my personal opinion. First off, we got Keep Away, which is probably my #1 choice in this column. Increase reload range accuracy when no targets are in close proximity. So definitely the goated perk for this weapon inside of that third column, at least in my personal opinion. I personally like Rangefinder as a second choice on this bad boy, for the aim is increased with range zoom magnification, increased projectile velocity. We don't got to worry about that, but I think Rangefinder does feel pretty good on this, even though we are already at like 74 in that range. This will help us to feel like it's reaching into that low 90s in my personal opinion, maybe high 80s. So definitely a good option as well, but I do think our first choice is better with Keep Away. Your last choice is Perpetual Motion. You're always moving and weaving in the Crucible, at least in my personal opinion. You should be. This weapon gains bonus stability, handling, reload while the wielder is in motion. So definitely nice with that stability and handling aspect of the weapon, because like I said, it does have a nice little bit of bounce, plus having that handling is super nice, hot swapping between this and your shotgun, whatever it may be. Fourth column, first option is probably Headseeker. I really like this. The combination Keep Away, Headseeker, absolutely disgusting. Body shots landed with this weapon increase precision damage and aim assist for a short time. Body shots landed while this perk is active also refreshes the timer, so good combination as well. So I personally think that's probably your best and most reliable combination in my opinion, with Keep Away, Headseeker as your 5 out of 5. Desperado right here is probably a good second choice. Reloading after precision final blows increases that rate of fire, so pretty good. Was a very big staple on some of our old pulse rifles that we had back in like year 1 or 2 of Destiny 2 with Desperado absolutely melting Guardians, so it does help a lot, especially on something like this that is already pretty hard hitting. Last but not least, I have seen a lot of people in the Crucible using this. Like I said, it has been running supreme in my opinion. It is everywhere in comp, in trials, inside of control as well, but I have seen high ground. Final blows with this weapon grant stacks of bonus damage. Attacking targets from higher ground immediately grants max stacks of that damage increase, and let me tell you, some of the maps, if you get that to proc, high ground is destroying people. Keep Away high ground was definitely a slept on combination in my book. I would have never thought to try it out, but after seeing everyone using it, definitely not a bad option. Like I said, if you can get that high ground, absolutely insane. Overall, the most consistency I would say is still that Keep Away Headseeker, but high ground Keep Away, not a bad option. Gonna throw this thing up there in that probably high A tier, even S tier, my personal opinion, at a 4.9, maybe a 4.85 if you will, a little bit higher than normal, maybe not a 5, because I still think some of those other weapons like Elsie's pulse rifle is, as well as something like Oversoul Verdict. So this thing is definitely very fun to use in both PvE, PvP. Got some pretty good combinations of perks for both of those realms, so Guardians definitely get into Gambit, slap it out. I know Gambit kind of sucks, but if you're going in there and just going in there for the specific reason to farm engrams and get through matches as fast as possible, you're gonna get through them in like 4 to 6 minutes with no problem, so you can get a good chance at this god roll with ease. But again, I truly appreciate you guys for coming back to the channel. As always, hitting me up with the views makes me cry, and appreciate you guys even more every single day. So appreciate you guys. Don't be afraid to like and subscribe, slap that bell so you don't miss out on any of the builds that we put out, any of the build guides, god rolls, whatever. My ADHD is taking over again at the end here, so appreciate all you guys. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.